The COMICA VM20 supercardioid shotgun microphone is a versatile mic that can be used for indoor and outdoor dialogue, vlogging, run and gun, just about anywhere you need a mic on location. And with flexible connectivity, you can use this with an audio interface, the input on your camera or camcorder. It'll work with a smartphone or a portable recorder. Now there's a few other options in this category, but at an affordable price as a complete kit, the VM20 could be a great option. So let's take a look. And so first I'll go ahead and roll back the clock. I'll unbox this microphone for you. I've been working with it for a while, both indoors and outdoors, but I know some of you like to see the packaging. After that, we'll go ahead with the indoor audio test. We'll check out the built-in controls, try it with and without the included pop filter. Then we'll go outside for a vlogging test. We'll connect it up to an iPhone, and we'll compare the audio from this microphone against the audio from the built-in mic on the iPhone. After that, we'll come back inside. We'll put this microphone out of frame in the boom position, see what kind of sound we get. Then I'll give you a few quick microphone comparisons. After that, I'll talk about the build quality, a little bit on the features, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so we'll go ahead and unbox this. Comes in a nice consumer package. Everything is well sealed up. And once we get it opened up, we'll see that everything comes nicely packaged inside a carrying case. And this is nice. It's got kind of a firm side, firm edges to it, so that'll really protect everything as you move it around. I really appreciate getting something like this with a microphone that's meant to be used on location. So we'll go ahead here and open it up. Inside, we can see everything's fitted into a nice foam insert. We have now a foam windscreen. Looks to be kind of pretty standard, what I would expect with this. And then we get a nice shock mount here. That's going to be able to go on top of a camera, or we can also put it onto a mic stand or a camera stand. We get the microphone itself. You see it's got a number of controls. We'll talk about that later on, but looks to be pretty nice construction. And in the top, we have a few things in the insert here. There's going to be the cables. We get a wind muff, which is great to have as well. We're going to want to be able to use this outdoors in a windy application. So great that that's all included. And as you can see, we get a cable for connection to a smartphone, to cameras, and we also get a USB-C charging cable. Now we'll do some indoor audio tests here, and we're starting out with the microphone. I have the gain. It's got a variable gain here. I have it set at 2.5 out of 10, and I'm at a distance of about 16 inches or 40 centimeters. So a good distance to be away from a shotgun microphone. I see I'm getting really good signal here, anything between around -12. For this test, I have it connected into a Focusrite Scarlett 18i20. I've got an XLR adapter because this, of course, has 3.5-inch jacks, either the one TRRS for a phone or TRS for a camera. So we're starting out, I'm using the TRS cable connected again into an XLR adapter, and no other processing on the microphone. And this is what we get at this distance. I'm going to do a few tests here. I'll go ahead actually, and I'll throw the foam filter that's included on here. And so that's with the foam filter on there. You can hear if it makes any difference in the sound. I find it maybe attenuates a little bit of the high frequencies, but nothing terrible. Some of you also like to use a shotgun microphone for voiceover, so you might get up a little closer on it. And this is a voiceover setup. I've basically turned the gain down a little bit further on the mic to about 2 out of 10. I'm at about a foot away or 20 centimeters, give or take. And, it gives you an idea as you move around if you were talking, speaking expressively, would it alter the tone in that if you were reading a voiceover and you were a little bit animated when you were doing it. And so definitely a lot of people like to use shotgun microphones for voiceover. Here's what it'd be like if you're using the VM20, again, without any processing. Now I'm moving back here again. I'm at about that 40 centimeters, a foot and a half away. And we'll also move back further because this is a shotgun mic. We want to be able to grab sound from a distance. So now I backed up here. I'm about 30 inches or 75 centimeters away from the mic. And this is the sound you get. Again, looking at my meters, I'm still getting plenty of level here. I haven't increased the gain on the microphone at all, and it's working really well. I'm going to back up a little further. And now I'm at quite a distance from the microphone. This, I would say, is, a little maybe 1.5 meters almost. So a really good distance here from the microphone. Still getting plenty of signal. I'm looking at it hitting around -16 or so on the meters. So plenty of sensitivity with this mic without turning the gain up. We've got a lot of room with the gain control on this mic. I found in connecting it up to an interface, again, and cameras and phones, etc. So this is the sound you get. This is the working distance as what I would call a normal shotgun situation. Yeah, now I'm back at about 1.5 feet or 40 centimeters away, and just to get you used to the audio again. Now, there's a few things with this. This microphone has some built-in controls. It has a power switch. It also has an OLED display for the battery life, and it's got a built-in rechargeable battery that you can charge with a USB-C cable. It comes with a USB-A to C cable. Full charge doesn't take long. I found about an hour or so I get a full charge, and I can use this for even about 12 hours when it's fully charged. So really good that way. You can get a full day out of it. You can also connect it up to a remote battery pack if you need longer run time. So really good there. It also has a button for high pass filter. Lets you select 75 hertz or 150 hertz for attenuating out that low rumble or wind noise. Now I'm going to test it for you indoors as well, just so you can hear how it affects the tone of my voice. I did do a test outside as well, and we'll get into that in the vlogging test shortly. But let's do this. Now I've switched this over to 75 hertz high pass filter, so it's rolling off some of those low frequencies. Not extreme, but it's rolling off some of them, so you get an idea of what it does to the tone of my voice. And now I've switched on the high pass filter at 150 hertz, and it's going to thin my voice out a little bit more in the lower tones. Again, this is really useful if we've got a lot of low rumble, we've got AC going on, and definitely outdoors with a lot of wind noise. This is the sound with the high pass filter at 150 hertz. And I'm going to check out the handling noise. You know, this microphone, you could likely have it mounted on a camera. For my outdoor vlogging tests, I actually used an iPhone, had a selfie stick like this, and basically you have the camera and the microphone on the end of a stick. You're holding it, not really tapping it, any issue like that, but this will give you kind of the extreme of what you could get. So and I mean, the microphone definitely was picking that up, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. And again, normally you wouldn't necessarily be tapping on it. You might be moving it around again on a boom pole or a selfie stick. So I think it did a really good job there. Now I'm going to move the microphone over and connect it up to the input on my Sony a6400, and we'll see what that sounds like. And so now I have the VM20 connected directly into the audio input port on my Sony a6400. And again, the same working distance here. I'm at about 1.5 feet, 40 centimeters away. I haven't changed the gain on the mic. It's still at 2.5 out of 10. And I'm getting plenty of audio. I can see the signal looks really good. And so this will give you an idea what it's like through a camera connection. So I'm doing this recording now. I have the iPhone built-in microphone here. It's on the 10R. And again, I have the phone probably about 18 inches away from my mouth here. And this is the sound we're getting. So this will be kind of a point of reference against the COMICA V20. Okay, so now I'm doing an outdoor test here. I have the COMICA microphone connected up to my iPhone. I'm using Filmic Pro to record this. And I have the gain only set up to about 3 on the microphone, so we're getting plenty of gain here. But I don't have a foam windscreen or anything on the mic. This is the sound we're getting. Okay, and now I have the fur wind muff on, and as you can tell, it's making a big difference here. I can see in the meters that definitely this is cutting some of that wind noise down. We'll see how the audio sounds in post, but I'll also do a test here with just the foam windscreen. And now I have just the foam windscreen on, and so this is the basic setup that you would probably use in a lot of cases unless you wanted that extra protection from wind. And so this is what the sound's like. We'll also go ahead and try the microphone with the high pass filters engaged. And now I've switched on the 75 hertz high pass filter, and I can see a big difference already in the level meters. It's cutting out a lot of that wind noise that's coming through. Again, I'm using the foam filter only here, and this is the sound we're getting. Now I'll switch over to the 150. And now I'm using the 150 hertz high pass filter, and so that'll cut out even more of that rumble caused by the wind. Using again the foam filter on here, and this is what the sound is like. I'll also throw the wind muff on, and we'll see what happens. And I'm using the iPhone XR built-in microphone here just to give you a baseline of what the sound is like. So if we were vlogging just using the phone, this is kind of what we would get. So walking around a little bit, it's quite windy today, and this is the sound we're going to have. Okay, and so now I'm using the 150 hertz high pass filter, and I have the furry wind muff on, and so this is about the most attenuation of noise we can get from the wind outside. And again, it's quite a windy day, so this is a really good test to see just how well this works. I'm going to get up and walk around a little bit just to see if we can get a bit of a vlogging test going on here. And so if I was walking around here doing this, this is the kind of sound we get. I'm going to work my way around the yard here a little bit, coming down into the side area here in the house, walking by, see what we get. This is the sound we're getting. And again, I've got the 150 hertz here on with the with the wind muff. So this again is most attenuation as we can get. I'll switch back over to no high pass filter. Okay, and now I don't have any high pass filter on at all, and definitely can see it in the meters here. We're getting a little more picked up, but nonetheless, this is to give you an idea of the sound without it. And I'll go to the 75. Okay, and that's the 75 hertz high pass filter, and that'll again cut out quite a bit of that extra noise. So this is it, the vlogging test with the COMICA V20. And so this is a baseline. I'm using the built-in microphone in my iPhone XR. And so this will give you an idea of the microphone again with the phone as opposed to using the COMICA V20 shotgun mic. So this will be the baseline before we listen to the audio through the microphone. An untreated area with high ceilings in my house, so about the worst situation you can get as far as echo is concerned. And I have the microphone probably about 18 inches away from my mouth here, using none of the high pass filters on here. I do have the foam screen on, kind of a normal use case you'd probably have. No need for the fur muffin here. Now I'll switch over to the 75 hertz high pass filter. And here I am with the 75 hertz high pass filter, and it definitely reduces some of that low rumble. I can see it again in the meters here on Filmic Pro. So very, very usable, I think, in this case. Again, we'll listen to the audio in post, but this is what we get, and I'll switch over 150 now. And now I'm on the 150 hertz high pass filter, so this is going to cut out the most low end rumble. I'll be silent here for a moment just so you can hear what's in the background. And now we're back indoors for a test here in the boom position. And you can see I have the microphone positioned. It's probably about 16 inches, so again, about 40 centimeters from my mouth. So very similar, except here it's coming from the top down. And if I switch to the camera shot up close, you'll see that what we have is the microphone is just out of frame. So typical for what you'd want to do, have the microphone out of frame for a talking head, something like this. Or if you had someone holding a boom pole and keeping this microphone again just out of frame. And so again, no processing here. I have the gain set at 2.5 out of 10 on the microphone. It's going directly into the Scarlett AT920. So give you an idea of what the sound is like here in a boom application. Okay, and now we'll get into some audio comparisons. So on the one side here, I have the COMICA VM20. On the other side, I have the Synco Mic D2. The Synco Mic D2 is an XLR-only microphone, so not as convenient as the VM20 by any means. Yes, you can get an adapter for a phone or an adapter to use with a camera, but certainly not going to be as portable. Most portable audio recorders will work with that, of course, as well. And so you're hearing me on both microphones. Check the screen out to see which one I'm speaking on. I have both of these at about 40 centimeters roughly from my mouth, so a decent distance away, something again you would normally expect with a shotgun microphone situation. I'm trying to speak across axis on both of them so you get a similar sound. And so what I'll do is I'll turn directly towards the microphone. So now I'm speaking directly into the VM20, and so you can hear me there. Now I turn over and I'm speaking directly into the Synco Mic D2, and this is what it sounds like. But again, both are at a reasonable working distance for off-axis here. I've used the supplied foam filters on each one, just so again, you get the experience of what they'd be out of the box. And now that you've had a chance to hear me on both microphones, can you tell which one I'm speaking on? Is this the VM20 or is it the D2? Check the upper corner to find out. Okay, now up with another comparison. This time we've got a small diaphragm condenser microphone. This is the Audio-Technica AT2021 and of course the COMICA VM20. And so these microphones are both very different. This is a small diaphragm condenser pencil microphone, so it's not a shotgun microphone designed for distance, but of course it will have considerable range. Again here, working distance, I'm about 40 centimeters away from each of these microphones, and this is what the sound is like. I have the Audio-Technica connected directly into the Focusrite Scarlett AT920 because again, it is an XLR microphone. I've got the gain here set up at around noon to get equal gain out of the 2021 to what I'm getting out of the VM20. And so this is the sound you get from both of them. Both are usable again for this sort of application. You can use them for indoor dialogue. They'll work with outdoor dialogue. I don't have a foam filter on either one now because the 2021 doesn't come with one. So again, I wanted an equal comparison. And now that you've had a chance to hear me on both microphones, can you tell the difference? Am I speaking on the COMICA VM20 or is this the Audio-Technica AT2021? As always, check that top corner to find out. And staying with the theme of affordable microphones for comparison, this time we have the Samson CO2 versus the COMICA VM20. Again, the Samson CO2 is an XLR-only microphone, so it's connected into the Scarlett AT920. Got the gain set at about 1230 on that mic, and again, no processing on either of these. And so it gives you an idea of the sound. The really advantage of the Comica VM20, again, aside from being a shotgun mic and having a longer distance for pickup, is really that versatility in terms of being able to connect it easily into other devices, having its own battery power, so it's not going to eat up phantom power if you want to run it on a portable recorder. There's a lot of advantages to that. But nonetheless, small diaphragm condenser or pencil microphone is a good option as well. And so this is the sound you get from both microphones. And once again, now that you've heard me on the Samson CO2 and the Comica VM20, which one am I speaking on? Check that top corner to find out. And for the last microphone comparison here, I have again the Comica VM20, and this time it's the Rode M3. And while the Rode M3 is also an XLR microphone, it does have the added option of the built-in battery, so we don't have to run phantom power to this if it's not convenient in a remote location. And so, again, both these microphones are the type of the thing that I would add into a kit and take with me if I wanted to record somewhere. So again, thought they'd be a good comparison. The M3 is connected again directly into a Scarlett 18i20. I have the gain set at about noon here. No processing on either of these microphones. And so give you an idea of what the sound is like. The VM20, again, most versatile, but you do need an adapter for XLR. So it's kind of like, well, in one case, if you want to use the VM20 with an audio interface, you're going to need an adapter for that. But with cameras, smartphones, and portable recorders, you won't. Whereas something like the M3, it'll work directly into an audio interface. It'll work directly into most portable recorders, of course, if they have XLR. But if you want to use it with a camera or a smartphone, you're going to need an adapter. So kind of, two different ideas here, but it'll give you an idea of another option. The M3 is more of a medium diaphragm condenser, so a little bit larger diaphragm than what we get on the VM20. And finally, now that you've heard me on both microphones, which one am I speaking on? Are you hearing me through the M3 or are you hearing me through the VM20? Check that top corner. Now, I want to give you an idea of what you could do with this microphone with some processing. So I've added up isotope voice denoise and the SPL deverb. I've also given you a little bit of EQ here from the Marvel EQ, as well as basic compression built into OBS Studio. So if you wanted to add up some processing here for live stream to clean this microphone up, give you a little bit of a thicker sound, you absolutely could do this. Of course, this will work in post-processing as well, and that's what I usually like to do if I'm recording out in the field. I don't want to bake anything in. So this is just an idea, again, not meant to be the only way you could process the audio, but just to give you an idea of how flexible this microphone actually is. And so talking a little bit about the overall build quality of this microphone, I have to say it's very good. It is an all-metal body, shielded for interference, and I found that to be really good. The controls are solid, that really positive switch on and off, and for the high-pass filters. The jack connectors, both for the USB-C charging as well as the 3.5 millimeter for the audio, are solid, no movement, no sloppiness around there at all. Foam filter is what you'd expect. I mean, it's not super deluxe, but it gets the job done. Case is really nice, really solid, and I have to say, again, that's really good to have when you have a microphone that you want to be using in remote locations quite often. So really good there. Cables are reasonable enough, and so I have to say, overall, for the price, again, the build quality is good on this mic. And a quick rundown on the features here. This, of course, is a shotgun microphone. It has a super cardioid polar pattern. Frequency response here is 20 to 20,000 hertz. It includes a high-pass filter, so low cut, both 75 or 150 hertz. Sensitivity rating, they give us a range of -43 to -23 dB. The equivalent noise is spec'd out at 19 dBA with a max XPL of 130 decibels. The connection type is a 3.5 millimeter TRS, although it does include a TRS to TRS, TRS to TRRS cable, as well as a USB-A to C cable for charging. Operating temperature is rated between 0 and 50 degrees Celsius. It has a lithium-ion battery that's built in, 3.7 volts, 300 milliamp hours. Again, the most important thing there for me is that I found I could get 12 hours of runtime out of it, and it's very lightweight at only 85 grams. And so now that I've had a chance to test this mic out for a while and run through a few things with you here today, what are my final thoughts? Well, first of all, yes, I would recommend this microphone. Now I'll tell you why. You're getting a lot of value for your money here. The construction of the microphone is very good. It's a solid metal body. The switches are really good, a positive feel. I like the fact that you got a really good battery inside. Gives me about 12 hours of runtime. That's just fantastic that I don't have to use phantom power, kill the batteries on my portable recorder, or find, bulky batteries to carry around. So really good that way. Worked well indoors. Distance, absolutely no issue using this as a shotgun at distance. Very good there, but you could also use it up closer for voiceover type application, boom application as well. So pointing down from above, I think it worked really well. So I'm really happy with that. Shock mount is good. So again, overall, definitely I would recommend this mic, and the price point, it does a good job. And if you're interested in more microphones for field or studio use, check out one of the videos on the screen. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.